Stadium Championship Series East continues to tear through the Sunshine State, although the weather in Jacksonville is sure to cause chaos and carnage. Tyler Menninga is coming off a perfect event in Orlando as he continues to extend his series points lead. But tonight, another new face straps into Max D as former World Finals ATV champion Blake Granger looks to take Gravedigger out of the top spot. This is round 19. This is Monster Jam.
And here we go. Final quarter, England's got it, and he is your racing champion. Oh, can he get the save? And he's got it. Going up. Oh, yeah. And he's going high. That is a Leduc leap off the container. With the combination move. Oh, my goodness. Huge hair. And he's going to make the save.
We're at the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, EverBank Stadium for round 19 with Stadium Championship Series East. Welcome to the Monster Jam studio. I'm Scott Jordan alongside the 7 Deuce Adam Entignap. And as Stadium Championship Series East continues to roll through the Sunshine State, Tyler Menninga had a memorable night, 1 round to go in Orlando, winning all 3 competitions and getting the perfect event. What does he do from here in Jacksonville, though?
I don't know. With this muddy track, it is going to be so difficult. But that perfect event, those come few and far between. He did do it at Superstar Challenge. He did it at the last event. But, man, that's going to be difficult in this mud.
And Toro Loco's Jamie Garner has had an up-and-down year. He's had to navigate not only being a driver, but also a team owner. And Team Overboard has had to deal with the loss of Cole Venard. Adam, if you are Jamie, how are you able to maintain focus with all of that going on?
Well, it's definitely a difficult task. And what's going on with Jamie Garner right now is he's very scatterbrained. He's got Cole Venard gone, which was replaced by Mike Pagliarulo, and he did a fantastic job, but he's thinking about so many things at one time. What he has to do is he has to separate those things. When he's driving, only think about driving. When he's done driving, think about working on the truck and who's gonna drive the truck. It's very difficult to do that, but Jamie's been here a long time and he can get it done.
Well, let's hear from the El Toro Loco driver, who's with the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Leslie Mears.
For Jamie Garner, it's been a little bit of a trying year. And I mean, I know you've gone through multiple engines with not just you, your team, but also your son Zach's team too. So how do you keep up your morale every weekend and keep coming out here and putting on a show for these fans?
You know, honestly, my wife come this weekend. My wife's been coming from Indy. My daughter comes, Maddie. That really helps boost it. Kind of makes it a little bit nicer for us because she's got the drive of, hey, you know, this year we've got it. You know, this weekend's going to be a better weekend for you. So just keep digging, keep digging. So, you know, it's just been kind of a tough year. But, you know, between the wife, daughter, son, and then the pit party, the fans drive all of us. All the drivers want to be tough and macho. You know, you get a little 5 or 4-year-old kid that says, you know, tonight's your night. You believe them. You do. And it gives you the goosebumps of, hey, shake this off, wipe it off your shoulders, and let's go for it tonight. You know, every single weekend we've been lucky enough to have the most awesome fans coming through the line going, hey, it's going to be your year. Just keep digging. You will get it. So it's what we've been doing. Every weekend, keep digging.
Here's a nice driver lineup. Another new face on this series. Blake Granger straps into Max D. Adam, what are your expectations for Blake tonight?
Man, they're very high. He's driven that Max D truck internationally, and he led the series last year with 11 skills wins and 7 overalls. But I'm really excited to see how he does against Tyler Menninga and Tristan England.
Also a different truck setup for him usually as he takes over Tom's front motor, so it could be a different style for him to try to get this Max D truck in business. Here are the current season points standings for the East Series. Tyler Menninga at the top, Tristan England in 2nd, Todd Leduc 3rd, Bryce Kenny 4th, and Max D truck stays with the points in 5th. Drivers will compete tonight in 3 competitions: JCB Racing, the Great Clip Skills Challenge, and Freestyle. Points are awarded based on finish, with 12 going to the winner, and the driver with the most points at the end of the event will crown the overall event champion. It's time for track talk, and what do you say? Rain has been falling here all day long. It is an absolute muddy mess out there. So what do you do as a driver to navigate this slick track?
Man, it is going to be so difficult tonight. You know, when I go to Supercross and I see that it's wet, you know, I'm not too upset, but this is on a whole nother level. The floor is puddles everywhere. These trucks are going to be slipping and sliding all over the track, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse every single moment. My biggest fear for these drivers is somehow keeping the trucks clean enough to not have electrical issues. Go out there, don't push the truck too hard, don't drive it in too deep, because you're just going to be sliding all over the place.
Track officials have altered the racetrack as a result of the weather. Let's get an update on this from Leslie.
Guys, it is soaking wet out there on the track, and probably a little kid's dream if you're a puddle jumper. However, very difficult to run our regular race course here in Jacksonville. So what they're going to do out there, they're going to switch to Chicago-style racing. And so you're going to see a little bit different course, but due to the conditions, they think this is going to be the best effort to get the racing in out here tonight.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Speaking of racing, let's take a look at the JCB Racing bracket. In round one, El Toro Loco versus Jester, Bad Company, Lucas Stabilizer, Black Pearl, JCB Digatron, Kraken versus Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. First round buys going to Gravedigger, Shaker, Maxi, and Megalodon. Chicago-style racing could favor arena drivers a little bit better. Who do you have coming out here on top?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for sure. Tyler is one of those guys that could be good, but it's going to be tough for anybody to get a racing win tonight. Tyler and Tristan have a combined 13 of 15 race wins. I hope we get to see that matchup at the end.
We go down to the Muddy Madness here in Jacksonville. Time for the first race of the night. Jamie Gardner, El Toro Loco, Matt Pagliarulo, and Jester, their first meeting of the season. We get to see how this track sort of unfolds and see how they start. And right there, traction is going to be hard to come by as well. They're driving on ice right now, and now the turns, they're just going to drift out here.
Oh my gosh, look at Matt. This puts a smile on my face. This is like a kid in a candy store just having fun, not worried about speed. You're just worried about your attitude. Put a smile on your face and have fun tonight. That's going to be the key to winning.
And Matt Pagliarulo has it figured out on the far side. He's got the turn. And he nailed it, 22.944. Here's the original Super Glue. Glue to the action replay.
Jamie Gardner coming into this corner. I don't even know if there's any traction. It might be better to have a wind boat or something going on out here. He just slides out, gets those BKTs, gets on the throttle, grabs the pod there, and doesn't get those two front tires on the race ramp. It's not going to matter. Those rules do not apply in this rainy weather.
Next matchup, John Gordon, Bad Company. He's going to line up against Lindsey Reed and Lucas Stabilizer. John 21-15 on the season with one win in Minneapolis. First time these two have squared off in the 2024 season. Both pull up to the starting line and wait at the green light. We got one, and here we go. Lucas Stabilizer, Bad Company, and Bad Company off the line faster. Let's see how they navigate the first turn.
Ooh, both drivers with a great first turn. Definitely learning something from our first two. Looks like John Gordon held the rear steer on a little bit long. Lindsey Reed pushes wide.
I'm just going to call the replay. You go ahead and finish the race here.
There you go, Scott. Here's the super glue glued to the action replay.
All right, let's take a look here. Here we go. Lindsey Reed comes off the ramp into that puddle of mud and just goes right off to the side. Can't land it square, has to navigate the turn here and adjust. Can't do it too far out. John Gordon, Bad Company, makes her pay, and he gets the win. Boom. Let's go to the next race.
Scott, you nailed that, dude.
Third race here in JCB Racing Round 1. Mike Pagliarulo in the Black Pro with that steps towing body up against Tristan England, JCB Digatron, the reigning World Finals Racing champion. Mike has filled in, as you mentioned, admirably for the Black Pro. Not much on the racetrack this year, though. 3-10. Tristan 28-10. And Tristan is probably really good on these muddy tracks when it comes to navigating this JCB Digatron. And we're seeing it right here. Just slops his way through that mud, gets a great corner, and he's out in front.
Little bit of an advantage for JCB. Slings it in that corner. Both drivers doing a great job.
Tristan England ultimately has the advantage, ultimately has the win, 21.713. Here's the replay.
You can see JCB Digatron sets the truck here, doesn't use any rear steer, gets on the throttle hard. Look at all that mud slinging. And then Mike a little bit wide, doesn't get on the throttle quite early enough. And JCB Digatron gets the first win.
Final round 1 race here. Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, Nick Pagliarulo, Kraken. And for more on this matchup, we're going to go right back down to our pit reporter, Leslie Mears.
Guys, Bryce Kenny told me that the key to this is to switch from chaos to control. He said as soon as everybody sees the mud, they start to panic and freak out. But if you can just slow it down, stay in control, smooth is fast out there, you're going to be all right.
Bryce talks about controlled chaos as we saw Nick Pagliarulo hit the pod. Gets up on 2 wheels. Bryce with a nice drift turn here coming across the finish line now on the gray side. Gets it, and Bryce Kenny goes off the ramp. He's going to finish first, and that's all that matters here at JCB Racing.
Something that they do very special that I wanted you guys to take a look at is we do not have windshield wipers on Monster Jam trucks, so there's a big cutout so they can see through that windshield, and that's virtually all they can see, making it very difficult tonight here in the mud.
Let's check out the bracket for round 2. It'll be Gravedigger versus Jester, Shaker versus Bad Company, Max D, JCB Digatron, Megalodon versus Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Fastest time in round 1, JCB Digatron 21.713. Coming up, Tyler Menninga won it all in Orlando, but will it continue in Jacksonville? Gravedigger is next on Monster Jam. Monster Jam is brought to you by JCB, the official heavy equipment partner of Monster Jam. Welcome back to Jacksonville for the second round of JCB Racing. And up first in round 2, Tyler Menninga, Gravedigger against the advancing Matt Pagliarulo and Jester. Tyler 31-6 on the year with 8 racing wins. Both lead the series. And Tyler now gets a great start off the line, so he has an advantage going into that first corner. See how he slings the truck in. He goes tight, stays right in the middle of that track. He's got a great lane going, slows down a little bit in the mud.
Jester coming back with a good exit there, but Tyler with a good inside line has to slow down.
And Jester all kinds of sideways across the track. Gravedigger gets the win, 22.364.
Jester knew he had to make up some time, gets on the throttle really hard, uses that rear steer. You can see it looks like the rear steer doesn't come back like he wanted it to, pushes him wide over that finish line jump.
Up next, Ryan Disharoon in Shaker versus John Gordon in Bad Company. We saw John navigate the track successfully in round 1. Ryan Disharoon gets his first crack here in the mud. No stranger to muddy tracks, though, out of the metal shop up in Maryland. Let's see how Shaker handles the track here in Jacksonville. Great start for Bad Company. John Gordon has the lead into that first corner.
Oh, man, I love it. I don't even know if this is Monster Jam Racing or Riverboat Racing. Watch the splash from John Gordon. He takes it inside. Looks like he has the advantage.
Bicycle corner there for Shaker, and he gets stuck in the mud there. John Gordon gets the advantage. Ryan Disharoon looked like he had him, got stuck in the mud, and John Gordon finishes strong.
It looks like John Gordon was going to give it away right at the end there, but something happens with Shaker. He goes a little bit wide, can't get the truck turned, and unfortunately, that's going to be the end of his racing for tonight.
Next up in round 2, Blake Granger in the Candy Apple. Max D up against Tristan England and JCB Digatron. Tristan with the fastest time in round 1, but Blake with the first round bye does get lane choice. I'm excited for this one. These two did battle on the Triple Threat Series year after year after year in Monster Jam.
Blake Granger a little bit behind. I thought he had the advantage, but Tristan's looking good.
Tristan England goes off to the inside, climbs over the turning pod. Wow. And Blake Granger, Max D, takes advantage of that 20.787.
What a perfect last corner for Blake Granger. JCB Digatron having a little slip up, grabbing the pod, and Blake Granger comes away with the win.
That's the second time I've seen a driver go to the inside of the turning pod. He can't do that. It's a boundary mark. Got to go outside. The final race features Todd LeDuc, Megalodon squaring off against Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Bryce Kenny advancing from round 1. He's 20-15 with a win. Todd 15-14, 4-4 in his career in Jacksonville with a win in 2017. Megalodon slow to get up the race ramp.
I think Bryce Kenny has a big advantage here. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins, especially because he's already been on this track.
I mean, this is the type of track that you don't necessarily want a first-round bye on because you got to feel it out. Bryce Kenny has done that, and he has a huge lead right now over Todd LeDuc and Megalodon. Bryce Kenny going to get the win and advance to the semifinals.
Todd LeDuc.
Big-time save, though, in the mud, 21.553.
Todd LeDuc getting up on 2 wheels, grabbing the pod there in this last turn before the finish, trying to make up some time, puts it on 2 BKTs, and then lands on the lid.
Nice freestyle preview there at the end of that race. We can now check out the semifinal racing bracket. It's going to be Gravedigger up against Bad Company and Max D versus Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Fastest round 2 time Blake Granger. How about that? 20.787. So Blake Granger has Max D looking fast, but will it lead to a racing win? Find out next on Monster Jam. Monster Jam is brought to you by Great Clips, the official hair salon of Monster Jam. Download the Great Clips app and check in online today. We are back at EverBank Stadium for the JCB Racing semifinals. Up first, it'll be Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger up against John Gordon in Bad Company. Bad Company does have lane choice here, but Tyler Menninga off to a great start. John Gordon stuck at the starting line for a split second.
I'm wondering if something's wrong with his truck or he couldn't see the lights. It's definitely pulling a little bit funny. Oh, there's definitely something wrong with John Gordon's truck.
He gets out of the race lane completely, allows Tyler Menninga to get by him. 19.577. That's a smart move from John Gordon to get out of the track.
I'm not sure if that's a smart move or a nice, handout to Tyler Menninga to give him that time. Something goes on with John Gordon here, sliding around the corner. Looks like he just pushes the truck too hard. Maybe that right front tire isn't pulling like he normally does. Not sure, maybe just the rainy conditions.
Final matchup this round, we got Blake Granger and Max D up against Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. As I mentioned last round, Blake does have lane choice with the fastest round 2 race time, and he's now 2-1 on the season. Great matchup here between Max D and Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. And again, one driver stuck at the starting line. This time it's Blake Granger.
Looked like maybe Blake tried to get a little bit too hard on the throttle, spinning up a little. Bryce Kenny with a great start. A little wide on the first turn, though.
Max D went from wide to in, too far wide on the race ramp, ends up too far in on the corner. Great Clips Mohawk Warrior advances 21.704.
Okay, so what you're seeing now, Blake Granger a little bit late off the line, but what you're seeing is the top layer of mud is getting slinged off this track, and it's starting to get hard packed underneath. They're getting to that hard base, and it is getting very slippery very quickly. You can see Blake Granger's rear tires just sliding out completely. It's going to be tough.
And it doesn't help that the rain continues to fall on the track and make it even more wet. Finals are set. Tyler Menninga, Gravedigger, Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Tyler recorded the fastest time of the night last round, 19.577. He has lane choice. He's looking for his 9th racing win of the season. Bryce in search of his 2nd. They have met twice this year. Tyler has taken both wins. Look at the mud splattered across the front of Gravedigger. Bryce Kenny dealing with the same thing. Vision, we'll see how it impairs both drivers. This time it's Great Clips Mohawk Warrior with the lead off the starting line.
It's going to be all about these first turns. Who can get the advantage? It looks like Tyler slides out a little bit. Bryce Kenny.
Pretty even here at halfway point. Here's the turn. Tyler goes inside, clipping the turning pod. I don't know if that's going to cost him or not. And we go to the finish line. Tyler too far outside. And Bryce Kenny, I think, got him here. Let's take a look at the original Super Glue Blue to the action replay.
Coming into the very last corner, it looks like Tyler Menninga
Wow.
gets the win in these rainy conditions. They do not have to have both front tires on that race ramp.
Tyler took an incredible race lane to the finish line. He gets his 9th racing win of the season, and he's on the track with Leslie.
You know, Tyler, you told me that you were just okay in the mud, but it looked more than that out there. But it looked like you had some visibility problems.
Yeah, you know what? We always cut the holes in the windshield. That way, when the mud gets all over the windshield, you can actually have a window to see out of. Between the mud flying on the visor and the other part of the windshield, I could only see through that hole. So that last race against Bryce Kenny, I couldn't even see the light go green. I had to tell Matt to tell me when to go. So you know what? We had a couple trials and tribulations out there in the racing competition, but we got the win.
Tyler gets to win assist to Matt Gahn as we check out the BKT overall point standings. He gets 12. Bryce Kenny in 2nd. John Gordon in 3rd. Blake Granger in 4th. Tristan England currently in 5th. Up next at EverBank Stadium was a Great Clip Skills Challenge. Drivers could attempt 2 technical maneuvers on 2 wheels, or they could do a donut. And each driver was scored by fans in attendance on creativity, skill, and execution. 12 points were on the line, so let's check out our top 5. Todd the Duke, Megalodon Moonwalk.
Very difficult trick in these muddy conditions.
In 4th, Ryan Disharoon and Shaker with a donut.
Nice donut here, getting good rotation, good speed. Fantastic.
Gravedigger's Tyler Menninga takes 3rd place, going up again on the container.
Risky moves on these containers in the wet conditions that seem to pay off.
Tristan England digging his way into 2nd place, coming off with a reverse stoppie.
Found a little bit of tacky dirt somewhere, maybe unused. Gets a little bit more traction. Look at those front wheels turning up in the air, giving a little bit of style in there as well. Tristan England throwing it in reverse, just inching that 12,000-pound truck, 1,500 horsepower, whichever way he wants.
And getting the win, Blake Granger in Max D.
Going for a little bit of a different move, hits the popper, and then goes for the combination. Gotta love it. That'll get you the win.
Blake picks up his first skills win of the season right now. Let's hear from our winner.
Blake, I didn't know what was going on out there. I thought that you were going to put it up on its tiptoe there, but you just kept rolling in that skills competition. Your first U.S. win.
Yeah, you know, most definitely. First off, I want to dedicate that to Tom Mintz. You know, he's supposed to be here. Everybody knows that he's not unfortunately able to make it. So, Tom, first off, that one was for you, brother. Thank you for trusting in me to come out here and wheel this Max D truck in your name. But, man, I tell you what, that was so exciting. I'm sitting in my truck watching all these awesome drivers go, and I just didn't know what to do. But I know my signature to start freestyle was that right there, and I said, you know what, it's either going to work or it's not. So we risked it, and you know what? First place, 2-0 skills, I'll take it.
A skills win moves Blake to second in the current BKT overall points standings. Tyler Menninga still has the lead. Tristan England in third, John Gordon in fourth, and Ryan Disharoon rounds out our top five. Gravedigger and Max D have an epic battle going on for the event championship. It all comes down to freestyle next on Monster Jam. Everyone in Monster Jam is proud to be partners with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Become a partner in hope and receive a custom St. Jude Monster Jam This Shirt Saves Lives t-shirt. Text Monster Jam to 785-833 or visit stjude.org/Monster Jam to learn more. We are back in Jacksonville with round 19 of the Monster Jam season. It's been an absolute mud fest out there in Jacksonville. 3 points separate the top three. Let's start with Blake Granger making an impressive television debut here domestically. Adam, what has impressed you the most about the Max D driver?
The fact that he can come out mid-season and be this competitive is absolutely incredible. But he is a World Finals ATV champion back in 2019, so it doesn't surprise me that much. But for Blake Granger to come out here and do what he did, pretty cool testament to Max D.
Yeah, he's been warming up a bit on the international series where he dominated last year as well, so he's got that experience in seat time and is paying off for him here. Tyler Menninga, Tristan England battled all season for the series points lead. They're engaged in another close one here. Tristan, though, winless so far tonight. How would you approach freestyle if you're Tristan England?
I think it really depends on the freestyle running order for me. That's going to be a difficult decision. It's kind of going to be game time. If he's before Tyler Menninga, you got to throw it out all on the line because you don't know if Tyler's going to have a mechanical issue or something of that matter. But if you're after Tyler, you really just got to watch, see what he does. If he gets a decent score, do some of what he did, and then give us a bigger wow moment.
And with a muddy track like this, always comes a lot of carnage and chaos. With an update from the pit area, let's go back to Leslie.
Guys, this mud has been really hard on parts tonight. We had a transmission on Gravedigger, a front steering pump on El Toro Loco, and you can see it's going all the way back to the pits. That's because it also has a blown motor. Kraken and El Toro Loco both suffered blown motors in the skills competition. And let me explain a little bit of how this happens. And so the motor is making lots of power, and it's spinning and transferring that all out to the tires. But when the tires aren't spinning the way that they normally are, if they're spinning slower, what it's going to do, it's going to put a lot of drag back on the motor. And so that means that the motor has to work that much harder to make those tires spin in this mud. That extra strain, that extra drag on the motor causes those parts to break inside. And that's what's happened to both Kraken and El Toro Loco tonight.
All right, thank you, Leslie. So two already out of the freestyle competition. Let's catch up with the BKT overall point standings. Gravedigger has the lead. Max D is in second. JCB Digatron in third. Bad Company in fourth. And Shaker in fifth. And here is tonight's freestyle competition order. As we take a look, Max D gets to come out early at the fifth spot. JCB Digatron is in front of Gravedigger at ninth. And Tyler Menninga will go 10. So there you go. Now that you've seen that order, who has the advantage?
You know, I got to give it to Blake Granger and Max D. Unfortunately, you know, Tristan England in that ninth spot going right before Tyler Menninga is a major disadvantage in my eyes in this freestyle competition in particular. He's not going to be able to see what Tyler's doing. For Max D and Blake Granger, wow, what an opportunity to prove he is one of the best Max D drivers in the business.
Yeah, he has an opportunity to come out here and win an overall event championship domestically. And if anything we've learned from mud events like this, freestyle strategy and philosophy goes out the window.
Yes.
Well, let's get started here. First competitor in freestyle out of Hiram, Georgia, John Gordon in Bad Company. And Georgia not too far away here from Jacksonville, so a special place for John to be. For more on this, let's go to Leslie.
Guys, Jacksonville is a special place for John Gordon. He was actually invited here by Ryan Anderson to come and attend and check out Monster Jam for the first time. And we know how that story goes. He ended up being Ryan Anderson's crew chief when he won some championships, and now is a driver out here on the track himself. He said it's always special to come back here.
All right, thank you, Leslie. So there's a lot of sentiment in sports. I know you have places that you like to go because there's something that means a lot to you. So what does it mean when you're actually performing in one of those places, when you're competing for a championship at a place that means so much to you personally?
It just gives you that little bit of relaxation and comfort because it's a happy place for you. And as an athlete, when you're in your happy place, you tend to perform the best you do in all of your races or competitions throughout the year. For John Gordon, take advantage of that. Have fun, put a smile on your face, enjoy these moments, and go out there and absolutely show them what Monster Jam's about.
Became a crew chief for Ryan Anderson, a world champion crew chief, then began driving in 2017 in Bad Company. Driven a lot of trucks throughout his career, but Bad Company is his truck. It's synonymous with him. And now Bad Company all muddied up, that orange body, crazy. And John looks like he is trying to go for the Morgan backflip. He's going to try to get the truck up in the air. He's got it, but he goes way sideways and ends up on the roof, and that'll do it. That's how you not do a backflip in the mud. But John gave it A for effort.
Yeah, he did. He just comes in a little bit too slow, slips, slightly under rotates, breaks off that tie rod in the front, lands on the hood. Unfortunate ending to John Gordon's freestyle.
We'll see if Matt Pagliarulo fares any better. He is up next in Jester out of Osteen, Florida. We always talk about these Florida events with the Pagliarulos. Doesn't matter where you're at in Florida, they say it's their home track. So we'll see how Matt does here at his home track.
Matt looking good so far. I love the way he's driving the truck in this mud. He's very hard on the throttle, kind of what we call power steering it, not really trying to turn the truck with the throttle off, but using that rear end and just hammering the throttle to get the truck to turn around.
It's his sixth start here at EverBank Stadium. His best freestyle finish in this building was fourth. We saw John Gordon attempt the backflip, end up a little long, ended up on the hood. We'll see if Matt ends up going over that way as well. And here comes Matt Pagliarulo right over the jammer. Nice floater jump slap wheelie combo. Getting a little technical in the mud. That's hard to do, trying to catch it right there with the right traction at the right moment.
Yeah, it's very difficult because what's happening to these drivers in the mud is you've calculated this entire season to be on tacky dirt and not this slimy stuff. And you're going up to the jump and you think the truck's gonna turn at that exact moment and it just keeps pushing farther and farther out and you miss it just by that little bit. It's very hard. You have to kind of go a little bit slower like Bryce Kenny talked about, controlled chaos at the beginning. But Matt doing a great job in this freestyle so far, staying on the throttle, keeping that truck loud for the fans. Nice throttle rhythm.
Well, the BKT tires definitely help because they are getting some traction as much as they can. Best tire in the business, Matt Pagliarulo, going to end up on his hood. We're 2 for 2. 2 for 2 with the trucks laying in waste in Jacksonville. Here's the super glue replay.
Here he comes. That last hit, he's going to use the side of the pod there and just gets a little bit cattywampus, lands on the lid, and you can tell that slippery dirt, just not enough traction to get him back on all four.
7.957 the score for Jess. There's still a lot more action to come in Jacksonville when freestyle continues next on Monster Jam. Welcome back to EverBank Stadium, where earlier today fans flocked by the thousands to the pit party, walking the track, meeting the drivers, taking pictures with the trucks. It's the most family-friendly pit party in motorsports, so make sure you get your tickets at monsterdam.com, and we'll see you at the pit party. During the break, Mike Pagliarulo, Black Pearl in the steps, towing body, goes up for some air, but he gets shut off early, gets a 5.561. And Ryan Disharoon in Shaker getting some donut action and would fill the clock. No wow moments here, and he gets a score of 6.805. Up next is Blake Granger in Max D, who trails the event lead by 1. He continues to win on every continent. And for more on this, let's go to Leslie.
Guys, I know you've been talking about what a great night Blake Granger has been having out here in the mud, but funny thing is, when he raced motocross, he hated being in the mud. But since he's got experience as of late being in Argentina and winning a couple freestyles down there in similar conditions, he is poised to do well here in freestyle and contend for that overall event championship.
Thank you, Leslie. So it's been an impressive Jacksonville start for him. He did not have an impressive freestyle debut in Orlando. He finished 9th there, so maybe some redemption on the mind for Blake Granger. A strong finish here could win him the event championship.
Yeah, and going back to what Leslie said about riding dirt bikes and motocross in the mud and not loving it, Blake Granger, man, it's so hard at two wheels to keep your balance, but I just got a smile on my face, and I'm sure Blake Granger does too, just hammering the throttle on all 4 BKTs, having a fun time out there, coming here in the States and just tearing it up.
6 freestyle wins, 7 overall event wins in 2023 internationally. In his 8th season driving Max D, the 2019 World Finals ATV Racing Champion, trying to beat a 7.988. That is the high score from John Gordon in Bad Company. Blake Granger rolling into the Morgan backflip. Max D goes up, and Max D comes off the side again. 3rd truck trying to go for something. Ending up on the hood there. Blake Granger can't get the backflip.
So when I watch this backflip, you can tell Blake is trying to make up for that muddy dirt. Way over rotates the truck, hits the throttle very hard, not thinking he's going to get the traction, but it did. It hooked up.
Next up, out of Curtisville, North Carolina, this is Bryce Kenny and Grey Cliff's Mohawk Warrior. His best freestyle finish at EverBank Stadium, 7th place. He comes off right away with some big air, goes off to the side, gets a slap wheelie combo.
One of the nice things that you've seen that Bryce Kenny just did is you can kind of get away with a little bit bigger air because the truck isn't going to stick and break as easily. So when that BKT hits the dirt, it's going to slide and push and go different directions. So it's going to take a little bit of impact off of that truck, allowing these drivers to get away with a little bit more as far as broken parts and impact on the truck.
Bryce in his 9th season, averaging 8.543 on freestyle, which is 3rd on the series. Now just going from one side of the track to another, just climbing over each obstacle he sees. Little floater on the end of that jump. And now roosting the mud up here in Jacksonville. Comes right across, going over the center pod. Off to the side again goes Bryce Kenny.
Man, those BKTs are slinging up a lot of dirt. They're doing everything they can. Look at him just roosting JCB Digatron. I love it. Getting a nice air. Oh, hits a jammer.
Yeah, got the nose down too hard. Ends up saving it, though. That could have been disastrous for Bryce Kenny. Shoots the gap there. 9.182 is the score to beat Blake Granger, Max D. And now we may see a backflip here from Bryce Kenny. Morgan backflip. He comes in fast on the backflip, does a short one, goes over again.
Get 2 rotations?
You're not saving that in the mud, buddy. That is it. Bryce Kenny, though, does get a backflip in. Take a look at the Super Glue to the action replay.
Almost got 2 rotations. That side of the backflip container is definitely spitting you off, Funky. He gets 1 rotation, goes for 2. No traction in the mud. Can't get it back on all 4.
6 down, 4 to go. The event championship is up for grabs when freestyle continues next on Monster Jam. Monster Jam is brought to you by Spin Master. Epic trucks, epic stunts, Monster Jam. We are back in Jacksonville with more freestyle. Let's get back to the action with the 2019 World Finals freestyle champion Lindsey Reed and Lucas Stabilizer. And with more on Lindsey's approach to this wet track, let's check back in with Leslie.
Lindsey Reed told me that momentum is your friend, and she tried to test that out in the skills competition. She said she backed up all the way to the wall. First gear, pinned it to see just how high she could get off the ramp. She said it wasn't what she was looking for, but the only good thing now is that some of that mud has been ripped off the track. So as those BKT tires start spinning, it's gonna peel some of that muddy layer off. She's hoping that she can get a little bit more grip and some big air here on her run.
Thank you, Leslie. That's something you mentioned earlier, is that top layer of mud is going to start leveling out a little bit to offer a different surface. So how does that affect Lindsey Reed's approach here when it comes to trying to get a wow moment in like a backflip?
You know, I think it affects her in the way that Leslie talked about as well, is talking about the momentum, is just keeping the truck moving at all times, because you can see when she comes to a stop like right there, it's hard for the truck to get back going and get that speed. So the more miles per hour she can keep at the slower points is going to give her an opportunity to get any kind of wow moment or big air. And as you've seen tonight, it's been very difficult for these drivers just to get any air at all. But Lindsey Reed so far has definitely been doing the best job with getting her truck out on that track and in some big air.
You continue to hear her rev up that throttle just to try to get some speed going on this track. Comes to a drift stop there, is able to get up over the race ramp and get some air. Trying for a bicycle on the backside. That'll do it for Lucas. Stabilizer. Here's the Super Glue replay.
Getting some nice air here. I think Lindsey needed to get over there and get to that Morgan & Morgan backflip. Unfortunately didn't. On the pod, grabs that right rear tire, BKT on the back of that jump. Comes up a little short.
Next up out of Peoria, Arizona, this is Todd LeDuc in Megalodon. And with an update on Todd, let's go back to Leslie Mears.
It's been interesting to talk to Todd LeDuc this year because he's got quite a different attitude. He said he's just out here to have fun, be nice to the truck. And I thought that was very interesting because usually he's not so nice to the truck. The other perspective that he's got is he actually watches the crowd and watches their reaction during the runs of other competitors during freestyle. And then he said he gauges what he's going to add to his run based on those crowd reactions, since that fan judging is so critical. And so he's relying on that crowd read to help him. And it's really paid off as he's been climbing through the points.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Can you analyze a little bit about what it means to be nice to the truck?
So what he's talking about is picking his landing spots, picking what jumps he's going to jump off of, how he's going to land, and not just going pedal to the metal, not caring which direction he's going, not trying to get the truck in a sticky situation where he has to make a big save. Unfortunately, Monster Jam does score very high with getting that truck out of control and making that big save. Here he comes.
8-pack for Todd LeDuc, Morgan & Morgan 8-pack. He gets it, and he lands it. First landed backflip of the night.
Very smart decision from Todd LeDuc to carry that momentum into that 8-pack backflip. Nobody's seen that yet. This should be a good score.
Yeah, it comes right off, then it goes right down the center, back onto the track, over the car stack. Todd LeDuc put on a good one here. He could win freestyle with a run like this. Comes off trying to get a bicycle, goes up again, floater jump, ends up with a nose down, but gets a wheelie combo to land the truck on all fours. Great run from Megalodon. Take a look at the Super Glue replay.
What Todd LeDuc did here is he just carried so much momentum into that 8-pack backflip. He knew no one hit that yet. He had some fresh dirt there. Great decision, great freestyle from Todd LeDuc.
Todd wearing a poncho there inside the cab. That's a different style. I've seen it all now, Adam. Let's take a look at the freestyle leaderboard. Megalodon now has the lead. Max D in second, Grey Clips Mohawk Warrior third, Bad Company fourth, and Jester in fifth. We're down to the final two. Can Tristan England or Tyler Menninga take the win from Todd LeDuc? Find out next on Monster Jam. We are back with more freestyle at EverBank Stadium in Jacksonville. Our next competitor, the 2023 World Finals Racing Champion, Tristan England in JCB Digatron. He trails the event leader by 3, so anything other than taking the lead here will eliminate Tristan from competition.
Coming out with a little bit of a crab walk there, using that rear steer. One of the things I'm watching on this track that is very difficult for these drivers is that the track is tacking up a little bit. That dirt is getting mixed in with the dry stuff underneath. The dirt is getting a little bit heavier in spots, so you get a little bit more traction. But unfortunately, in these muddy conditions, those jumps, the jump faces start to go away so much quicker. You're not gonna get the air. You're not gonna have quite the pop that you did at the beginning of those freestyle competitions. So right now, Tristan needs even more speed than the rest of the Monster Jam trucks to just do the same amount of air as all the rest of the trucks.
And I'm going to keep pushing the fact that he still has 0 freestyle wins on the season. We've been waiting for one. We've been talking about one. He is still yet to climb to the top of that leaderboard. He finished second last round in Orlando, which is a great finish for him. He's been the bridesmaid many times this year, never the bride. Tristan England needs a freestyle win if he is going to contend for the series championship.
It's going to be a difficult night for sure. If he gets that backflip in and gives us a wow moment.
We're going to work on backflip here for Tristan England. He goes low, and a pogo bounce. He's got it up on both front two wheels. I think he was going for skills. Not going to happen in the mud. Tristan England, though, does hit the backflip, and the fans are going nuts.
You know, something awkward happened here. Tristan England's usually very good at getting that thing in forward or throwing it to reverse. You can see those tires aren't moving. I'm wondering if the truck got shut off or he had a mechanical in that situation.
That brings us to our final competitor, Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. He needs to finish second or better to win the event. Otherwise, Blake Granger is our overall event champion. And Tyler Menninga to start slinging this thing out. He talked about vision points a little earlier, said that during racing, all he could see was that square. So right now, what he is looking at underneath the truck, he can't see any sight lines, correct?
No, he can't see anything. To be honest, what these drivers actually do, especially particularly in this situation, is he's actually using the stadium and he's really relying on his crew chief. A nice big air with a little brake check, throwing a little style in there from Gravedigger. But he's using points on the stadium to actually know where he's at and line these jumps up.
Tyler Menninga won the overall here in 2022. He's got 12 out of 15 overall event wins this season, 7 freestyle wins, which leads the sport, and his freestyle average of 9.000 leads all stadium freestyle competitors. And he now gets a floater up over, has to slam on the brakes just a little bit. Now he has got to hit reverse. I don't know what's going on with Tyler. We're trying to figure out where he's going. His crew chief, Matt Gaughan, I'm sure communicating with him what to do. It is 8-pack time. That's what he's going to do. And instead launches it straight up in the air. And the Gravedigger truck folded like a tin can.
Gets a save. Wow, that thing really did crinkle. Luckily, it has that sturdy cage underneath, and it just doesn't have the body. Tyler Menninga, big save. And now he's on to his wow moment, keeping the crowd on her feet. Man, this is a good freestyle. Oh, a little bit of chaos.
Goes off again, saves it. Tough to save it on this track. He gets it done. Tyler Menninga, run of the night. We'll see if the fans agree. Take a look at the replay.
Here he comes into the 8-pack backflip. I don't know what he was thinking. He knew that Todd LeDuc had hit that backflip before. I'm not sure why he thought he was going to get the rotation, but it works out for him. He gets a big save and then does a little bit of cross-threading right here, lands on the hood and gets it back on all 4 BKTs. These are what the Monster Jam fans come to see.
Take a look at our final freestyle leaderboard. Megalodon does get the freestyle win, 9.508. Gravedigger second, Max D third, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior fourth, and JCB Digatron in fifth. So Todd gets his 3rd freestyle win of the season, and he is downstairs with Leslie.
What a spectacular freestyle. And Todd, we saw you do something that no one else had done yet, and it really paid off. Talk about risk it for the biscuit out there.
Oh, big time. You know, in racing and skills, we just didn't have the great time right there. We just couldn't get into that flow. And then with these fans, they wanted to see a backflip, and I saw everyone failing and failing and failing. And I was like, you know what? My eyes transitioned from the backflip over there to the mini flip. And I was like, I'm going to hit it. And as fast as I hit it, I thought for sure the tie bar was going to break. It didn't. When I was rotating through the air, I was going, this is not good. I was kind of twisting. When I landed, I stayed on the throttle, but that's because of the mud, man. We were able to do that incredible move and win freestyle.
And it also seems like that watching that crowd reaction, which you had told me, really paid off too.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm literally doing, is I'm just watching the crowd. And we know they were so close. They wanted to see a backflip here in Jacksonville and landed, and we brought them that. So unbelievable.
Thank you, Leslie. Now we can take a look at the final BKT overall point standings. Tyler Menninga gets the win with 33 points. Blake Granger, great night for him with 31. Tristan England in 3rd. Todd LeDuc in 4th. And John Gordon in 5th. For Tyler, it's his 13th event championship of the season. Let's rejoin Leslie with our winner.
Tyler, you were neck and neck with Blake coming into freestyle, and you knew you had to really turn it up. It seemed like you were jamming gears harder than anybody else out there to try to get that momentum flowing.
Yeah, you know, they put a brand new transmission after 2-wheel skills, and it was a tight pinch. Those guys did awesome on getting that transmission in place, but I wasn't very nice to that new one either, so I'm almost willing to bet that one's blown too. But yeah, you know what? It's not the fact of the points tonight. The fact of tonight is those fans stayed through that delay in the rain and waited for this Monster Jam freestyle event, and I was going to not disappoint them. I didn't care what happened. I was going all out for those fans. That's why we love Florida. That's why we love Jacksonville, as they are diehard Gravedigger and Monster Jam fans down here.
The Sunshine State has been very good at Tyler Menninga. 5 rounds in Florida, 3 event championships.
Man, it seems like every state's been good to Tyler Menninga, but we will see if it'll be just as good in California for World Finals.
This series, though, still not over. Neither is our season, as you can join us next week as we head back to the West Series with Monster Jam action from Lumen Field in Seattle. For Adam Entignap and Leslie Mears, I'm Scott Jordan. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right here next time on Monster Jam.